Excited for your move to Florida? Well, if you're ready for your next move and the Sunshine State is your destination, then welcome. It is definitely one of the best places to live in the United States. But before you pack the U-Haul and send out those change of address notices, there's a few crucial things that you need to know about moving to Florida. Today we're going to discuss 7 things that you may not have known and that are incredibly important before moving here. I am Lisa McBride with Sarasota Neighborhood Experts. I help people move to Sarasota Lakewood Ranch area all the time. I really appreciate your continued support. Now, my team and I are here for you, and if we could be of any help, let us know. Also, if you do find this information helpful and you've been watching my videos, please subscribe. Also, I'm really curious to hear from those that may have already moved to Florida. What were some of the things that surprised you the most, or were there some mistakes that you made that you wish somebody would have told you about? I want to make sure that we're sharing all this information so that no one is completely surprised. Leave comments below. Also, stick around to the end because I'm going to share with you the things that probably surprised me or I wish I would have known before moving here. Let's dive right into some of the most crucial things that you need to know about living in Florida. Number 1, be sure you understand how Florida property taxes work. Florida is a homestead state. The Florida homestead exemption allows homeowners to receive a property tax break for eligible homeowners. Now, this applies only to primary residents, and you must live in the state for a minimum of 6 months and 1 day. It can reduce the taxable value of your home by $50,000, and this saves you approximately $750 a year. Additionally, and probably the best reason to be homesteaded, is the assessed value of your home cannot be increased more than 3% annually. So this is incredibly important right now in this crazy market with home prices jumping almost 20 to 30%. It's great to know that if you're homesteaded, your home will only jump in value by 3% annually. Now, homesteading your property does not take long, and you're always given instructions of how to complete this upon closing on your home. If you'd like to know more about homesteading, just let me know. I'm happy to help. The next big item that is crucial when moving to Florida is being very diligent shopping for your homeowner's insurance. Homeowner's insurance costs have risen considerably in the past 5 years. Many large insurance companies that you're probably very familiar with don't even write policies here in Florida. Some insurance companies may require a roof to be less than 20 years old to insure it. Doesn't even matter if it's in great shape and there's no problems. Unfortunately, due to a high level of fraud and those pesky little hurricanes that occasionally make landfall in Florida, our cost of insurance has just really risen. Insurance costs also vary greatly due to the age of your roof, windows, and doors. So a lot of times that will play a big role into that as well. Now, keep in mind that standard homeowners insurance does not cover flood. So you'll need to take out a separate flood insurance policy if you are in a flood zone. The next crucial thing you need to know about in Florida is deed restrictions. Is your home in a deed restricted neighborhood? Deed restricted communities are really a dime a dozen here in Florida. A deed restricted community is a neighborhood with a governing homeowner association, or HOA, that enforces certain rules and regulations regarding the look of a neighborhood, as well as property uses. Before purchasing a home, understand all the requirements and the restrictions that come along with it. This is imperative for you and your family to adhere to. And do not automatically believe that having an HOA or deed restriction is a bad thing, because I hear people kind of questioning whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Now, these rules and regulations are in place to keep the integrity and appearance of neighborhoods to be cohesive and beautiful. And so you want your home value to be maintained, and HOAs and deed restrictions do help. And as far as those pesky fees that come along with deed restrictions and HOAs, well, they can range in cost. Some are as low as a few $100s a year to a few $100s a month. So again, be sure to know exactly what is included in your restrictions. The next crucial item to understand: are you buying property oceanfront, waterfront? Are you looking for a home with a dock or a boat lift? Knowing the laws of oceanfront property and waterfront property are incredibly important. In oceanfront property, certain vegetation cannot be removed. Florida residents are not allowed to trim or remove mangroves of their own accord. Mangrove trimming is regulated under the Florida State Mangrove Act, and a permit is required before taking any action. Also, if you're living close to the beaches, you may not be able to use light during some turtle nesting season. And on the beach, anything below the mean high tide line belongs to the state. If you don't want people to use it, you may be able to restrict access to your property, but there is a process to go through. Number 5 thing that is crucial to know, is there a CDD in your community? And what is a CDD? This is something that I was not familiar with prior to moving to the area. A CDD is a community development district. Now, if you're considering buying a home in Lakewood Ranch or Venice, there's a lot of communities that have CDD fees. A CDD is an entity that develops the land, provides infrastructure and amenities, maintains the community and its amenities, and works to provide a higher standard of living for its homeowners. Most of the new communities in Sarasota do not have CDDs. As I mentioned, Venice and Lakewood Ranch do. CDD fees are comprised of 2 parts, bond and operations and maintenance. The bond is a fixed amount and finances the development, the infrastructure, and the amenities. It is typically paid over 20 years and it can be paid off in advance. So a lot of times you may find a 15-year-old home that the CDD fees have already been completely paid, which is a benefit. The CDD fees are collected as part of your property tax bill. Now, the next thing to be really critically aware of is the higher closing costs. Florida closing costs are among one of the highest in the United States. Typically, I tell people to budget about 3% for closing. In Florida, there's 3 taxes that are part of your closing costs, and there's an intangible tax, a state tax, and a deed tax. So if you do not have a mortgage, you don't have to worry about the deed tax. The last thing everyone needs to be aware of is our rental restrictions. If you're planning on only using the residence part-time and want to perhaps rent it out while you're not here, it's incredibly important to learn the rental restrictions for your home. And unfortunately, there is not a one-size-fits-all formula when it comes to rentals. For instance, you may be able to rent your home for 1 to 7 days, or perhaps 30 days, or maybe you'll hear that it can only be rented annually. Or we also see restrictions that state it can only be rented perhaps 3 or 4 times a year, or you may have to own a home for 2 years before you can ever rent it out. Every neighborhood, every condo building, and every development have their own set of rules. So before you buy, be sure to dive deeper into the rental restrictions if you are thinking about possibly making it an Airbnb or a VRBO. The bottom line on buying Florida property, Florida has so much to offer and it appeals to vacationers and home buyers, and our population is just exploding. So whether you're purchasing a primary residence or an investment property, it's important to know what to expect when buying a home in Florida. So what surprised me the most when moving to the area, it simply is the number of different neighborhoods and how each one really has its own personality, its own style, its own flair. And you can be driving down a road and there's a neighborhood here, a neighborhood there, and another one just a block away, and they all feel differently. There are literally thousands of neighborhoods of all sizes and shapes, and becoming familiar with them does take some time and diligence. So there's many beautiful neighborhoods here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch area. If you would like information on any of these neighborhoods, be sure to give me a call today. My team and I are here to help you. And also be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. We are having a lot of fun putting fun little videos out there on these other platforms as well. I truly, really appreciate you watching, and as always, until next time, take care.